Hello again, fellow BeachBum traders. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for the trading week of April 17th through April 21st. And in part 2 of our weekly trading game plan, we'll be selecting our top swing trading stocks to watch. We'll also be talking about ETFs. We'll look at various ETFs, what's in our bullpen, our shopping list. We'll talk about dividend payers, etc. So stick around. Got a lot to talk about. And again, we'll select what our top swing trading stocks to watch are for the trading week of April 17th through April 21st. So let's get started. Welcome, Tony Rosas. Thank you for joining us. Ollie in the Bay. Good to see you all in the live chat today. Hope you're having a good weekend. Flip of the Shipper, Ricky Khan, thank you for joining us. So here's our Google document with our notes for part 2 of our weekly trading game plan for this week. Again, we make our notes public, the Google documents public. You can find a direct link to our notes in the description box below. And we store all our notes for our weekly trading game plans in a publicly accessible Google Drive folder, so you can refer back to these notes as well as our notes from previous weekly trading game plans in that Google Drive folder, for which you can also find a direct link in the description box below. If you haven't already seen part 1 of our weekly trading game plan for this week, titled Make Money Trading Tax Season, we would highly recommend you view part 1. Not only does it include our market analysis, our strategies for this trading week, but also some trading tips for your taxes. So if you haven't already completed your taxes, there's some tips in there about taxes in terms of trading and in general, and also some strategies we talked about in terms of trading the tax season coming up as people get their refunds, where are they going to spend their money, and how can we take advantage and make money trading throughout this tax season. So again, we'd highly recommend you view part 1 as well. Welcome, Kenneth Peters. Thank you for joining us. So real quick, we didn't make a whole lot of trades last week, as we talked about in part 1, and we've talked about for a couple of weeks. This range-bound choppy market isn't very conducive to our particular long-term swing trading strategy. However, we're also augmenting that we'll talk about with both piling up on dividend payers as well as trading options. So in this case, we had previously sold a cash secured put on Tesla, and part of our strategy is selling cash secured puts when something's going down, buying them back when it's going back up, collecting the difference in premium as profit, as another way to generate income. In this case, we had sold this Tesla at 120 on the 13th of March. We bought it back for a nickel on the 12th of April. So we collected $2 per options contract in premium profit on that trade. And again, we'll be looking at, doing that again. If Tesla goes back down, again, we'll sell cash secured puts on Tesla. And again, we'll look at our puts ROIC spreadsheet in a little bit, and we'll look at a number of possible opportunities for selling cash secured puts. So again, just a reminder, if you'd like to get real-time alerts on any of the trades that we make, you can join any level of our Patreon, and we try to post to our Patreon. You'll get an email notification as soon as we enter or exit any trade. And we also then post those to the alerts channel in our Discord that our Patreons have access to. So as you can see, when we bought back that cash secured put on Tesla, we posted that to a trade alerts channel in our Discord that, again, all levels of our Patreon have access to these alerts channel, which include both a Thinkorswim price alerts channel, which I have price alerts set Thinkorswim. When those get triggered, it gets automatically posted to the Thinkorswim alerts channel. And then again, if we follow that up with a trade or we make another trade, we post that to the trade alerts channel. So again, I never recommend that you blindly follow us or anyone else into a trade, but if you would find it helpful to succeed in your trading career, to see what trades we're making, when we're entering, when we're exiting, and why, then by joining our Patreon, you can get access to that information. So now we'll jump over to Webull and we'll look at our real-time watch list for this week. And again, our real-time watch list is what we're actively watching. I have automated systems and another set of alerts that notify me as these are moving up, reaching our price targets, etc. So I'll talk through any changes we've made to our real-time watch list, and then we'll go look at the charts in Webull in a second. So we haven't made a whole lot of changes. Again, there hasn't been a whole lot of movement. As we talked in part one, it's mostly been sector rotation, and you'll see in some of the items on our watch list how we may take advantage of some of these sector rotations. Welcome, Easy Mike. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you today. Hope you're doing well. So again, we've been talking about uranium for several weeks. We have several uranium stocks we've been watching. We currently are still long a UROY. That's appreciated a little bit, so we're still long there. We'll see if that continues upward or if we get stopped out. Another one we're looking to buy is DNN. Yeah, we've been watching this for a while. It's a uranium play, so sector rotation in and out of uranium. We like DNN. We've talked about potash. It's a little bit harder to track the sector rotation in potash. It's an agricultural input, and a basic material. So sector rotation in and out of basic materials might give you an opportunity in IPI. You can see we did a short video on potash stocks, and you can access that via the bonus link in the notes. So again, our Google documents of our notes have bonus links to currently unreleased videos, as well as the tools, resources we use for our game plans. We also talked about the sector rotations in and out of coal. The one we like to watch for that sector rotation in coal is METC. You can see it pays a quarterly dividend. It went ex-dividend on the 28th last. And so we like METC as a play for sector rotation in coal. Good morning, blind trader. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. We've been talking about OPP, and I want to look at OPP again when we get to the dividend payers. I was seriously considering jumping into OPP right before their ex-dividend date. It just went ex-dividend on the 14th, or on April 13th, and you can see all their ex-dividend dates via this link in our notes. I'll show you in the chart. I was weighing that their 10-cent dividend versus potential price appreciation, if it was worth paying up a little bit to get that 10-cent dividend, and I decided to wait to see if it declines further, as I would probably make more money doing so. So we'll see that in the chart, and I'll explain that in a little more detail. We're going to take PALL off. PALL is the ETF we've been watching, Palladium. It kind of ran up. It's not optionable. I'm not terribly excited with that one. We've watched it a couple times. We can still watch it via our ETF spreadsheet. And if it does get down to a level where the risk reward's more attractive, we can always jump in there. So we'll continue to watch it via our ETF spreadsheet, but I don't need to watch it via my real-time watch list. And we're continuing to watch SOXS. SOXS is the short on semiconductors. We'll see if they do try to continue to pump up semiconductors. Again, my trigger to enter SOXS is actually the resistance level on SOXL. SOXL has pretty good resistance at 1840. They have been running in NVIDIA quite a bit, and that will push SOXL. The others have been choppy lately, but if we do get a big run in SOXL and it hits that resistance, I would jump in and short via SOXS. Again, if you would like to get more frequent updates on our watch list, including access to automatically generated web page that also includes our price target, support and resistance, as well as dividend information, the ex-dividend dates, yields, etc., optionality, etc. Any level of our Patreon has access to both this automatically generated web page, and then if I make any more frequent updates to our watch list, After that's been generated, then I also post that in a stocks watchlist channel in our Discord, which again, all of our Patreon members have access to. And you also see when I change or add something to our puts, ROIC Google Sheet, I also post that. We'll look at these additions when we talk about our options strategy. So again, if you'd like to get more frequent updates to our watch list and also price targets, etc., by joining any level of our Patreon, you will get access to that information. Now we'll look at those items in Webull, look at their charts, see where they're at, see where our price targets are. Welcome, Walter Lyons. Thank you for joining us. Glad to see you as well. Hope you're doing well. So DNN, again, we've been watching for a while. It's, been just kind of sitting, chopping around, range bound. Anywhere under $1 is pretty good. I'd like it down in the 92 area. You can see that's the previous low. They did a very quick spike down in the past. If they rotate out of uranium, again, we would add a position DNN. We currently have a position in UROY. IPP, again, this is the potash play. Again, looking for, sector rotation in and out of agricultural inputs, basic materials. I know I'd like it, somewhere down here near this previous bottom. Again, pretty range bound, pretty flat lately. Same thing with coal. Again, they've been rotating in and out of these sectors so quickly. It's just kind of chopping up and down. You can see it's, only one pivot point up or down around the pivot point, around the main pivot point. They're just chopping and rotating in and out quickly, which again is not terribly conducive to a longer term swing strategy. Look at SOXS, and I'll come back to OPP. Again, if we look at SOXL and we zoom out a little bit, well, you can see here's this resistance point at 1840. So my trigger to enter SOXS again is if they spike SOXL up to that resistance level at 1840, then that would be my entry point for SOXS. But again, since it's a leveraged ETF, it'll have a tendency to deteriorate. And so it may make even lower lows, even though the SOXL, the bullish leverage hasn't reached that resistance level. So again, with these leveraged ETF shorts, I always look at the long, find the resistance point on the long, and watch that to determine the trigger, the entry point for the short. So again, I wanted to come back to OPP and talk about why I didn't get into it before its most recent ex-dividend date. We can see the recent low in OPP was 820. It was sitting in the 840 area, so about a 20-cent downside. It pays a 10-cent dividend, so I would be giving up 20 cents in price appreciation to get a 10-cent dividend, and so I decided that didn't make a whole lot of sense, as the longer term trend has recently been down. So we've got more downside potential risks down to 8. So we'll see if we get a dip in OPP. If we get a dip down to 820 or even better down to that 795 level, then I'd make a lot more in the price appreciation than I would lose in the 10-cent dividend. So again, I elected to forego it for this month. We'll see again if we get a little dip. We'll buy a big chunk of OPP and collect the dividends on that. Okay, so now we'll talk about our bullpen stocks. For anybody who happens to be new to our channel, the concept of the bullpen stocks are not ones that we watch real time during the day. I don't run, although the automation will pick it up if it comes near our buy price. I'm not watching it real time during the day. I revisit their charts at the end of the day, see if the setup has improved. If so, we put it in the game, move it up to our real-time watch list. If it breaks down below support or breaks out, runs away, then we take it out of the bullpen. So again, it's those that in the near term may present a more favorable technical setup. And so again, at the end of the day, these are ones I want to revisit, see if we want to put them in the game, move them up to our main watch list. So I've got another addition to our bullpen, which is very similar to OPP, which is PDI. This is another fixed income fund. This one has, it's a debt-based, it's bonds-based. I'll bring this up in FinViz so we can look at the description a little bit just very quickly. So you can see it's been seriously declining, which is one of the reasons I've got in the bullpen and not in the major watch list, is it doesn't really have a well-established bottom, a well-established support level. So again, you can see, it's been in serious decline. It's even broken below this long-term previous low. So again, I want to see it establish a decent bottom and ideally swing back up for an entry point. But I also wanted to look at the description real quick. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Again, they have, it's a debt fund, it's closed-end fund. One of the things I don't like about it is this commercial mortgage-backed securities. So I'm not real fond of that piece of it. But they also have high-yield corporate bonds, emerging market corporate bonds, sovereign bonds, etc. It might warrant further due diligence to see what percentage of their holdings are in these mortgage-backed securities versus some of the corporates, etc. But my hypothesis with PDI is I think corporations, due to the constraining credit market, I think corporate bonds are going to have to start yielding more, and I think there's going to be more attraction in that area, and therefore we might see this, we see this appreciation back from the early 2010s after the last financial crisis. We see this major appreciation in PDI, and my hypothesis is maybe we'll see that again. You can see it pays dividend yields about 18.4%. It is not optionable, so I could not sell covered calls against that position. So, and it is a monthly dividend payer. So that's kind of my thesis on watching PDI. Again, I'd like to see it establish a good bottom. You can see it's paid monthly. It just went ex-dividend on the 12th. So I would expect the next dividend date to be probably around May 12th or so. Flipper says he likes junk bond. We'll have to see if we have that in our ETF spreadsheet. I know I've looked at a variety of these bond ETFs, etc., and looking for ones that pay a decent return as well as potential price appreciation. Again, as dividend payers, and we'll see also in our dividend payers where there's some opportunities to collect good dividends. We've had UUUU on our bullpen for a while. Again, this is another one of our uranium plays. As you'll see, is kind of hovering in the middle of its range. So again, it's another opportunity to play uranium if we see that sector rotation in and out of uranium. So now I'll just jump over. I'll grab a drink a sec, and we'll jump over and look at those charts quickly in Webull. Okay. So again, another thing I like about Webull is you can have, pretty much any number of different watch lists. We have some thematics, etc. We've got our main watch list, our bullpen, etc. So here I wanted to show you that PDI. Again, we saw in FinViz, pretty serious declines. Got, $2, $3 potential upside from there. We see it last paid 22 cents on the 12th. So again, it's a monthly dividend payer. Looks like it's been, steadily paying about 22 cents every month. So that's pretty decent. Again, potential downside, down to 16 or so, 16.60. So again, we'll see if it continues to decline, whether it respects this support level and turns, or if it continues to decline down to this lower lower level. So again, I'd like to see it establish some level of support. But again, the dividend's pretty respectable. It's got, some price appreciation. Again, risk down to, about a buck risk down, about maybe, 2 or so up. So it's meets our 2-to-1 risk to reward profile. UUUU, you see we'd kind of like it down here at this 469 previous low. It's just kind of been chopping up and down or cycling up and down. Again, the sector rotation in and out of uranium. So, we'd like to get a little bit cheaper, see potential upside up in the high 7s, Okay, so now we're going to look at our ETF spreadsheet. We'll look at a variety of ETFs. If anybody has a category you want to look at, Flippa mentioned junk. We can look at some of the other bonds. Also, we've been talking about the bank collapse. We talked about that some of the regional banks are reporting earnings this week. If you want to trade the financial sector, particularly very short term, it's going to be volatile, but we did release a video with the best financial sector ETFs to trade, and you can view that via the bonus link here in our notes. We also talked about, we saw the big run in gold and silver recently, so we also released a video on the topic gold and silver ETF, so you can see that via the bonus link. And we've also been talking about real estate and the distinguishment between commercial real estate and some of the other categories of real estate, ETFs, REITs, etc., and how we're playing that. So again, you can listen to that as well, so I won't reiterate that. So I'll bring up our ETF Google Sheet. And again, if anyone has some categories you want to look at, throw them up in the chat. We'll look at those. Again, our All Access and VIP Patreons have access to this Google Sheet 24/7. I find it invaluable in terms of playing the sector rotations. When you see a rotation in and out of a particular sector and you're looking for an ETF that you want to play that sector rotation long or short, this is how I do it. We've released several videos on how we identify the sector rotation using both the FinViz groups screen as well as our ETF spreadsheet. So again, if you'd like access to this ETF Google Sheet, at any time, by joining our Patreon at the All Access or VIP levels, you get access to this one as well as our dividend payers and our puts ROIC Google Sheets. Also, a recent enhancement is we added some tools to allow you to track divergence in the different technology sectors. We talked about how we're looking at opportunities in semiconductors, and we have a variety of screeners in a screener sheet there that you can use to both track divergences in the technology components as well as other various stock screeners that we've used over time. Okay, I'm going to zoom this down just a little bit. Hopefully that's still pretty legible. Well, quickly, I talked yesterday about biotech, so I won't belabor that. I'll probably release that as a short soon so you can hear, not interested, although you could try shorting it if you wanted. Well, it's pretty beaten down. We've talked about China, you long via yang or long via yen, short via yang, again, short-term trade. Talked about, we've got a few stocks in here. Here's METC, which is our coal play. You can also see BTU. Consumer discretionary, I don't like that going into a recession. We talked about, the financial sector. The ones we typically play is If you want to play long FAS, I would be looking, if they happen to run financials crazy up, I would again be watching the resistance level on FAS. So if they run it up to resistance, I'd be shorting financials with FAZ. Talked about golds, talked about potential opportunities in some of the junior miners. There's a couple ones you can play JNUG. I like JNUG better from a risk reward standpoint. We did look at JDXJ, which is one I know Easy Mike has played, I believe, and I still prefer JNUG in terms of a risk reward standpoint. So I did look at that one. And again, I would go with JNUG from a risk reward standpoint. Been interested in India. We were watching INDL for a while. I'm still keeping an eye on some of these other countries, both India, Vietnam, etc. So I'm watching INDL. Oil, natural gas. Again, we talked yesterday. They're pretty range bound. We talked about oil. So again, I won't belabor that, but if you're looking for watching, where the oil and natural gas ETFs are relative to their support and resistance, you can see that in our ETF spreadsheet. Talked about PAL. We watch that here. Ideally, I'd like it, considerably lower to get a decent risk reward profile on it. Talked about real estate. So again, the bull is significantly above, even its 52-week low or potential support. Yeah, flip of VNAM is one of the ones. And Easy Mike, thank you again. He's turned us on to that VNAM. We also have VNM in our spreadsheet. Been looking at, the various indices, but again, everything's pretty range bound, pretty choppy. So the Russell long, the Dow long, silver short. Again, I think silver's got, could run up to 30. Been watching these solars, but again, the solars, their risk reward's just not very exciting from an ETF standpoint. So we do have a stock. If we did want to play the rotation in solar, we would be looking at SPWR. Although what I do is I go in that groups tab in FinViz, click on solar, and then see who's up at a support level and has a good looking chart at that point. So treasuries, again, we talked, treasuries now are in decline, yields are going up. I would expect that to continue. Got a couple uranium ETFs, but again, they're just not in a position where I'd be pursuing the ETFs. I like the uranium stocks that we've got. Here's the two Vietnams, VNAM and VNM. Here's UVXY. We're currently long UVXY. Again, it's continuing to decline. The VIX is around 17. We'll see if we get a pop on Monday. We typically get a little bit of a pop after a weekend, and we'll see where that goes. Also, I've been keeping an eye on wheat. You'll see I had that questionable in our notes. Just kind of keeping an eye on that. If wheat does decline and bottom, this ETF WEAT is interesting. So I'll go back up to bonds, see if we have junk and things like that. Doesn't look like I specifically have any bond funds here. So I might have to take a look at those again. I'll flip over to the research tab quickly to see if I've looked at them before. I have things in treasuries. So here's, the research tab is where I, do the research. I can see the price movement, and then I have to manually add the risk reward, the support resistance levels, bottoms and tops. And then if it looks like something we want to add to our database, I add it to our database. You see I have several municipal bonds. Again, nothing that was terribly exciting. Looked at some timbers. There's the Vietnams. We talked about water a couple weeks ago. So yeah, maybe I'll have to look at the junk bond fund. I'll put that in the questions, and I'll take a look and see if that's something that we want to add to our spreadsheet, Flippo. Okay. Okay, so is there any other category anybody wants to look at in terms of ETFs, or we can continue? Again, if you can always hit me up in the Discord, or Discord's free to join. Contact me via social media, etc., Facebook group. Again, there's links. Our Discord's free to join. All the other channels are free to use, and there's an invite on our homepage as well as in the description box below. Our homepage is beachbumtrading.com, bum without the U. And again, you can find links to our social media sites. You can always ask if you'd like me to do research on another ETF, or if you have any questions about how all this works. We've released a number of videos about how this has evolved, how this works. Okay, so just very quickly talk about our shopping list, and then we'll jump into dividend payers and our option strategies. Again, shopping list is a set of, list of stocks you want to buy, potential long-term holds, potential investments, given the opportunity. Earnings, irrational reactions to earnings may present an opportunity, or if they just, push it down with a sector or the market. Just some caveats, things to make sure you're not vulnerable to the bank collapse. So directly or indirectly, you don't want to get stuck in the fallout from the bank collapse. You can hear our previous discussions about that, how to avoid getting trapped in the bank collapse. And we released part 3 recently, so you can hear all those. Zombie stocks we've been talking about for a long time. Interest rates going up. Credit is being even further constrained, going to continue to be constrained. These zombie companies that are losing money, have high debt, are going to find it more and more difficult to stay in existence. They're probably going to have to do offerings. They're going to, watch out for reverse splits and offerings from these guys, because they're not going to be able to get cash anywhere else. And then, the question is, now the Fed even says they expect a mild recession in 2023, and want to make sure that your stocks are going to be recession proof, be it a mild or severe recession, and when it comes. So let me grab a drink, and I'll bring up our dividend payers. We'll look at potential other opportunities in dividend payers. We talked about OPP and PDI, and we'll see if there's anything else. So if anyone wants to look at any other specific dividend payers, we can do that. Again, our all access and VIP Patreons have 24/7 access to this, and it'll show you, current prices for various dividend payers. Also, our automated systems update this both as they announce further dividends, ex-dividend dates, etc. Then the spreadsheet will get updated at the end of the day with that. We also have an automatic feed in our Discord. Anyone that announces dividend hikes, that gets posted to the investing channel. Again, this is publicly accessible to everyone. You can see, changes in dividends in the investing channel in our Discord. So again, that's automatically posted. So as people announce a hike, you can get that information by joining our Discord. And again, you can see our evolution of our dividend payer spreadsheet, how to use it, etc., via this link in our notes on our series on dividend payers. So let me grab a drink and jump over there. Okay. So again, you can see we've got a pretty healthy list of a variety of dividend payers. This makes it very easy for me to quickly, at the end of the day, flip through and see if anybody's close to their support level. So the green is telling me they're close to their support level, and then I can look at, okay, what's, are they quarterly, monthly, etc. What are they paying? When's their ex-dividend date? Again, all the gray columns are coming from our database and our automated systems. The white columns typically are either a formula calculated or it's based on a Google Finance function. So these will update near real time during the day. Again, there's a 20-minute delay on the Google Finance functions. But again, if you're just looking to put together an income, a dividend payer income schedule, this is, I think, a great resource. So we hope that you think so as well. And again, you can find dividend payers that meet your desires, whether it be the dividend percentage. If you're looking for a combination of dividend payment and price appreciation, you can compare the dividend yield to the adjusted yield, which also takes into account price appreciation. GLDI is on gold. It's an ETN. We hold sizable chunks of GLDI as well as SOVO. This goes ex-dividend on the 19th. Now it's pretty high right now because gold and silver are high, so I don't think it's a great opportunity right now. This is a bank, regional banks I'm staying away from. I know a lot of people like JEPI and JEPQ. I've been waiting for them to come down a little bit. If they come down a little bit, I might buy a chunk of them. We hold a pretty good size position in land. Again, real estate's been beaten up quite a bit. The dividend's not real great on land, but it's got decent price appreciation. So we'll see if that picks up. You can see METC pays a dividend. Talked about OPP, so you can see, potential price appreciation on it. It's decent. Again, pays a 10-cent dividend, just went ex-dividend. You can see there's PDI. I identified that from this spreadsheet. And you can see it paid 22-cent, went ex-dividend 412. And we see it's, it's almost a double, not quite a double in terms of price appreciation. So given its dividend plus its potential price appreciation, it's got a pretty good adjusted yield. Also, you can access the FinBiz charts, profiles for any of these in the notes field, so you can click on any of these. I've taken a look at that guy, but it looks like it's just continuing to deteriorate. I've been watching this. This is kind of interesting. It's on volatility. It doesn't have a long history, but it seems interesting. UDR. So if anyone wants to look at anything else, again, if you're an all access or VIP Patreon, you can go through this at any time. Again, it will adjust, based on the movement of any of these dividend payer stocks. And again, if you want us to add or, look at any additional ones, just let us know. We can do the research and see if we want to add them to our overall spreadsheet for everyone's benefit. Okay, so now we'll talk about our options strategy. Again, we talked about another way to make money while we're waiting for the markets to trend is by both selling and buying back covered calls, selling and buying back cash secured puts. Again, we're doing this in a retirement account, so the puts we sell have to be cash secured. The calls, again, have to be covered. Did identify, as you saw in the watch list updates, a couple of recent additions. And again, that was a combination of using This puts ROIC tool, which you can see in the tools sheet. Looks like I might have moved too fast and killed my browser. So again, what I've been doing is at the end of each day, I've been using this option seller ROI tool to look for potential additional opportunities. A lot of these are regional banks. A lot of them are unprofitable tech companies are showing as attractive. Again, staying away from any of those. But the ones we did identify as potential additional opportunities is Albemarle at 170 and ServiceNow at 340. And we'll look at those in the spreadsheet in a second. Again, we have a whole series of videos on how we've developed these option strategies, how you can use this puts ROIC spreadsheet to, again, identify potential opportunities for selling puts. We also updated the strike prices all to be May recently. And you can see the fair value calculations, the highs, all these gray columns, again, come out of our database and are updated by our automated systems at the end of the day. So again, if you'd like access to this, 24/7, you can have access by joining at the all access or VIP levels of our Patreon. So you can see Albemarle had a high of 190, so that looks attractive. I do have a sell out on that right now. Hasn't hit yet. I'm also got a sell on Experian. You see it had a high of 170. I'm looking for anything that's over $1, that which would be at least $100 per contract in terms of profit. I've got one out on Google. You see its fair value is pretty high. I've got one out at 85 on Google. Got one out on Moderna at 115. Against Micron at 50. Although you can see the current prices are pretty low. 52-week high was decent. Got one out on Netflix at 250. You see ServiceNow, it high at 125. So I may have to, the greens is showing stocks that are going down and therefore selling a put might be attractive. Red is it's going up, which means selling would not be attractive. But if you're buying back, that would be the time to look at buying back cheaper. So I may be swapping these out as, these stocks, if some of the ones I have sells out continue to go up, I may swap out, Google for ServiceNow or something. So again, it's just a matter of managing your capital, your available capital, and watching, who's attractive at a given time. So again, the spreadsheet allows me to see at any given time who do I want to try to sell? Who do I want to try to buy back? You can see, this is a primary area that we're looking to generate income right now in this choppy range-bound market as I'm trying to sell a lot of cash-secured puts, generate some income. And then, we'll buy them back cheaper, rinse and repeat, essentially generating our own dividends, generating our own income. So again, if you have any questions about this strategy, if you want us to research any additional options, we can, do the research, add these potentially to this spreadsheet. Again, for everyone's benefit, I add them also to the database so that all this data gets collected and then updated on the spreadsheet at the end of the day. So again, we hope this all helps. We hope that you find this valuable. We hope it helps you generate additional income in any kind of market, choppy market, etc. And again, helps you succeed in your overall trading career. Again, having multiple ways to make money trading, I think is a advantageous way. We swing trade, we collect dividends, we buy and sell options, whatever's working at a given time, given the current market conditions. When the market conditions change, you can change your strategies for what's working for those market conditions. Again, there's tons of ways to make money trading. It's just, we had an adapter die, a long time ago. It's being adaptable, recognizing what's going on in the market, what's the best strategies that you can make money trading in that kind of market, and then taking advantage of the opportunities that the market gives you. So again, we hope this all helps. So if anyone else has any questions, we've got a few minutes. I can answer questions in the chat. Let me grab a drink. Sec. So if I did miss your question earlier in the chat, please, I apologize. Please throw it back up there. Again, I've got a few minutes. I'd love to be able to answer some of your questions. If there's anything else I can help you with, you can always ask it also in our Discord. Again, our Discord's free to join. I'll throw the invites in the description box below, but I'll also throw it up in the banner a second. Please tag me in the Discord. This is BeachBum Trading, so I get notified and can, follow up. And our ID is 7313, so accept no imposters. Again, we have a Facebook group. You can ask questions there, have conversations there. So again, we can carry on these conversations in our Discord. Most people hang out in the beach party, but we have different channels for different trading styles, different asset classes, etc., tools, etc. And again, you can always put them in the comments underneath the video. So again, we expect things to, evolve quite a bit this week. We'll see what kind of sector rotations occur, be able to take advantage of those opportunities. If we identify, additional stocks to add to our watch list, we'll update those in the Discord and or on our automatically generated web page. So keep an eye out. Again, I expect things to change quite a bit and will evolve and adapt accordingly. So we hope this all helps. Please smash the like button. Please share this content with your fellow traders and friends. Let's build the community. The more people we have in our community helping each other out, in our Discord, etc., the more mutually beneficial it is for everyone. So again, we hope you like and share this with as many people as possible. Let's again grow our community for everyone's mutual benefit. And otherwise, again, we hope this helps and we hope you have a great trading week. And we'll see you all on the trading floor. Thank you for joining us.